You'll see before you, not before you, they're before me, they're not before you, they're next to you, they're amongst you, they're before me. Sitting there at the table, 4 distinguished, wonderful individuals. Yeah. Those are your guest judges for the evening. Now, usually, in the fall, we bring in professors and staff people to judge, right? But we thought, why not get the finalists from last season's Project Poet to be the guest judges, give them a turn to see what it's like judging the things. So, there they are, Marcelina, Jake, Becca, and Jeremy. Yeah. Round of applause for them. Yeah. They're gonna need it. They're gonna need it. Having been a judge, it's not as easy as it sounds, so they're gonna need all of the good vibes we can give them. Emily couldn't be here, but well, we got 4 fine folks. That's only one component of the judging. The other part of the judging, the other component is you, dear audience. You have a part to play in this. Your vote counts. And this is where the American Idol part comes in, I suppose, right? Because they all get to vote and stuff. There are voting sheets. There are sheets somewhere, little half sheets of paper. I can't remember where they went. Chance is in charge of them. Oh, there they are. Chance is in charge. So you want to get a sheet so that you can, well, help judge. All right. Oh, there they are. There's my group. Okay. Okay. Any questions? We're all good. Those of you who came to Project Poet last fall got a special treat as me being the MC, and that is puns. Right? You, the audience, were subjected. There's a better word than so. You were
rewarded.
Yeah, with awesome puns. In lieu of puns, I've decided to read poems. We have a short set list. There are 8 poets reading tonight. And I thought, well, why not sort of spice it up a little bit, do a little bit more celebration with National Poetry Month and with Global Week. And I'm going to, instead of puns, I'm going to share some poems from some poets from the larger world with you. And I need that. So I got a couple poems to share with you. Mostly, I chose some poems written by poets who were born or died in the month of April. I need a parameter. I need a goal. This person, the first poet, was not born in April and is still very much alive. So I broke one rule, and well, I get to do that. This poet's name is Suyeon Julia Lee. She's a Korean American poet. She's a friend of mine. We went to grad school together way back once upon a time. This poem is called After Noise. And who are you now in this different blue space without pain? Remarking on chemtrails and snowmelt, misreading the sea whose letters cease to arrive, remain transfixed in mid-flight, turbulent coasts, aloft as a principle of life, count invisible clams under nameless sands, cut apostrophes into the air, announcements, send far-flung greetings to strangers for days, keep the magma enigma at bay, daily joys, effaced, vaporous, pale, generous smoke rising. So cling to the dark hand inside you, its basalt fingers rounded. And I'll do one more, and then we'll get to the goods. This poem is by Maya Angelou, born in 1928, April 4th, 1928, died in 2014, Arkansas native. You all know Maya Angelou. This poem is called My Arkansas. There's a deep brooding in Arkansas, old crimes like moss pinned from poplar trees. The sullen earth is too much, too red for comfort. Sunrise seems to hesitate, and in that second lose its incandescent aim, and dusk no more shadows than the noon. The past is brighter yet. Old hates and antebellum lace are rent, but not discarded. Today is yet to come in Arkansas. It rise in awful waves of brooding. And that one's up there. All right, here we go. So I have this little bucket. It's not a bucket, it's a cauldron. Inside are the names, pieces of paper on which are the names of tonight's contestants. And you get to help me out. I figure you get to help determine the order of events. So as the names are drawn out, that's the order we will go in. Part of me right now wants to set it down and recite the Shakespeare speech with the witches and cauldron and the bubble and stuff. That's right. All right. This is pretty much mixed, like it used to be in one mixed. And I'm going to let the first draw go to Dr. Gill, who is new to us this semester. We're very glad she is here. She's come out to join us, yes, and we're glad she's here presently and here generally. So, Dr. Gill, just one, no cheating. All right, first up is Megan Johnson.
Can you hear me now? Okay. This was written in response to my parents being wary of me leaving the country to travel on my own. And also about my friends that I've met here at Ozarks. White skin from white parents from white parents from white parents meets tanner skin from tan parents from black parents from tan parents. You are my best friend, and you too, and you, and you. Bits of the world that now matter to me are crammed within the confines of this rectangle of Ozarks, and I wish to leak from the bowl of mountains and valley-ish land, for now I live vicariously through you, through your cultural art, cloud and soil of linoleum, through your accent that you hate me noticing, your American regret, your American love. In Europe, it's different, how I wish I could differentiate. Catching your words, swimming, jumping, flipping, crawling through my transparent fingers I recognize. From my tongue, teeth, lips, throat. Kalindo, no Kalinda. Bonito, no Bonita. From where do you see the world? From deep brown eyes I will never see from. From songs my drums may never comprehend. From mouths of abuelitas in Guatemala and hermanos Reza in Nicaragua. To a scream of frustration for Honduras, mother, is the heartbreak reverberating in her cage. Hot, heavy air I may never feel, I fear. I love you. Change my life, change my thoughts. I'm saturated, bubbling, lusting for more earth than what I've almost tasted. Let me come to you.
Batteries are going out. All right. Okay. Technical difficulties. That's all right. We're professional around here. Oh, we can do this. Some of us have PhDs. We can figure this out. Some of you will one day. You'll be able to figure it out then. So we're going to work on that. Mine at least works. I got another poem for you. Poet's name is Edith Solargran, born in Russia in 1892, April 4th, actually the same as Maya Angelou. But she wrote in Swedish, and so this poem was translated from the Swedish. It's called Animalistic Hymn. The red sun rises without intent and shines the same on all of us. We play like children under the sun. One day our ashes will scatter. It doesn't matter when. Now the sun finds our innermost hearts, fills us with oblivion, intense as the forest, winter, and sea. That's uplifting too. All right. Two. Who wants it? Anyone want it? Welcome to the mic, Laura Pritchard.
It wasn't first, and that's the most important part to me, I think. I titled this poem, How Did You Do It? Hey Australia, it's me, an American citizen who is sick and tired of watching children be murdered in a place that is supposed to be safe. I have a couple of questions. How did you do it? How did you make your government see children as more important than guns? How did you convince your citizens that guns are not necessary? That they can survive and live with other means of protection? How did you do it, and how can we? Please, can you tell me? I want children to learn more art and less how to survive an active shooter. I want children to want to go to school, not be terrified that they may not come home. I want teachers to teach math lessons, not try to comfort crying children during a drill. I want our schools to be safe again. I want our children to be children again. Please, help us help them.
All right. Charles Baudelaire, French. Born April 9th. It's called Be Drunk. You have to be always drunk. That's all there is to it. It's the only way. So as not to feel the horrible burden of time that breaks your back and bends you to the earth, you have to be continually drunk. But on what? Wine, poetry, or virtue, as you wish. But be drunk. And if sometimes on the steps of a palace or the green grass of a ditch, in the mournful solitude of your room, you wake again, drunkenness already diminishing or gone, ask the wind, the wave, the star, the bird, the clock, everything that is flying, everything that is groaning, everything that is rolling, everything that is singing, everything that is speaking. Ask what time it is, and wind, wave, star, bird, clock will answer you. It's time to be drunk, so as not to be martyred slaves of time. Be drunk, be continually drunk, on wine, on poetry, or on virtue, as you wish. Be be drunk. Don't be drunk on wine. Be drunk on poetry. Don't be drunk on any other things. Unless you want to. Ana Sofia Camargo, come on down.
Hi. Oh, okay. Yeah, it works. My poem is titled Mass Transit Escapism. In Arkansas, I sit by my window, sigh, and go away. I stand by the Dalek walls at a platform in Malostranska. I wait in line at Plaza Cinco de Mayo. I buy a ticket at Pantitlan. I walk down the steps to 14th Street Union Square Station, submerging myself into democratic mass transit commuting. Riding from Malostranska to Correglo Namiosti, Cinco de Mayo to San Miguelito, Pantitlan to Bellas Artes, Union Square to Prospect Park. And between stops, I fall in love with strangers, with dark tunnels, with freedom, with left-wing public policy, with being held by strangers in nuclear binding, ergo, becoming no one, becoming invisible, becoming another atom in the universe. All of that for only 24 crowns, 35 cents, 5 pesos, $2.75. In the meantime, in Arkansas, I sit by my window and sigh. Thank you.
Ana Sophia, you're keeping track on your things, right? You're right. We had 3, right? You're keeping track. All right. Keep track. I'm gonna read you another poem while you're keeping track. This is by Seamus Heaney, a great Irish poet, born April 13th. This is from a sequence of sonnets, a sonnet sequence called Glenmore Sonnets. This is number 1. Vows plowed into other open ground. The mildest February for 20 years is mist bands over furrows, a deep no sound vulnerable to distant gargling tractors. Our road is steaming, the turned up acres breathe. Now the good life could be to cross a field and art a paradigm of earth new from the lathe of plows. My lead is deeply tilled. Old plow socks gorge the subsoil of each sense, and I am quickened with the redolence of farmland as a dark, unblown rose. Wait then, resting the mist in sowers' aprons, my ghosts come striding into their spring stations. The dream grain whirls like freakish Easter snows. Melissa, how's it going? Here. You draw the next one, no cheating. And next up, Lexi Patrick, please.
Wait, mic check. Lauren and Meg, please marry me in a weird three-way wedding. Okay, mic works. This one's called Do We Each Climb a Mountain Differently? I look at my spot on the map and I cry. When you stick a pin through America, does your javelin impale me? I am a drop of water on planet Earth, one who has tasted the seas and shores, but never the glittering ocean of space. Though I marvel at the size of my fish tank, I wonder if I was given this knowledge, only to be mocked by my own insignificance. Always asking, though I have mass, do I matter? Is there a girl in Sudan who feels the same way, a boy in India, maybe twins in Italy? Is there a chance that my eyes were recreated in someone else's genetic soup, or has diversity divided us beyond camaraderie? When we climb a mountain, do we each climb it differently? And again, I am left to speculate if the mountain is worth climbing at all. My opinions do not shape the cosmos, and my brain is but atoms. So I ask you, God, why do we see it all? Was this the true burden of Adam and Eve? Is this the knowledge of good and evil? The knowledge that no matter the options and no matter the choice, that we will forever pale the magnitude of stars? How many other beings have you created? How many of us are born to die? And I continue to scream and scream and scream that it's always and forever. My Creator revels in his silence, and I am left to revel in mine. Living, yes, but still unsure why.
All right, let's do Patrick, everybody. All right, are you enjoying yourself thus far? Yeah. Maybe you need some puns. Get your blood flowing. You better don't have them memorized. Or maybe it's lucky for you I don't memorize. I will commit punishment. So I hear today was like some important day with respect to housing or lodging or I don't know, you're having a super fun time, right? That all went well, eh? Yeah, all right. That's good. We want things to go well. All right. Do you need a stretch break? Yeah. I'm glad you're on the floor, not me. Although I guess I'm on the floor over there. Anyway, here's another poem for you. This person, as far as I know, was not born in April, and they did not die in April because they are still alive. Chinese poet named Zhang Jiaoqian. The poem is called April. Yeah, and I chose it because it's called April. And April. Daybreak was rubbed into a drop of rusted tears. She bent down as if to hear a slight sound. April walks outside the window. Lychee trees are blooming. Lilac is less than love under the shade of iron. A rusted moon, someone who believes in love, patiently shoulders endless grief. The past gradually fades and memory falls into disorder. What is left inside spring's furnace illuminates the cold, bare blueprint. Corrosion digests the dark, recessed details, exposed on the machine table by time's passing her humble thoughts. In April grow dark green as if seen from above, her love lying on the exhausted factory floor. From Sichuan to Hunan and more distant places, ideas arrive like products. A single green certification slip appears with her tears. In the illuminated factory, daybreak stirs its wings. A splinter of rust wounds her heart. Outside the window, love's dew casts a luminous shadow over April. All of this forces her, like iron, to stiffly cling to her sliver of rushing love. This fragment of the rising sun. All right. Here we go. We're halfway through. Four more. All right, next up, Walter, Joe, and Gegway. Give it up, give it up, give it up.
Okay, so it's been a while since I've stood behind the mic, so there we go. My inspiration for this poem was, honestly, it's kind of a rant. It's kind of a rant. Okay, cool. Like I said, okay. So, something I want to explain to y'all first is, usually when I write, I give my pieces two titles. The first title for this poem is Who Are You? And the second title, which goes back to me saying this is a rant, is My Past 7 Years in America. Who are you to quantify who I am? To tell me how much my soft kid's skin is worth? That my use of the English language diminishes that worth? Who are you to tell me to embrace my rich lineage because it's trendy now? or to drown my sorrows in a sea of green on my country's holiday? Who are you to tell me my voice is incomprehensible because you can't comprehend what I say? To tell me that my gray skin is broken, I'm flawed, yet try to imitate. And then you tell me to discard all of what makes me me because I raise my hand to a flag that will never see me for more than a cup. Who are you to be the judge of what I can and can't do because of how I present this exquisite three-course meal that is me? That because I let you taste a piece of this meal that the entire palate tastes the same when there's a plethora of flavor that's yet to be known. Who are you to tell me who I am?
Well, good way, everybody. All right. Another poem for you. Cesar Vallejo. He actually died in April. He wasn't born in April. But anyway. This poem is called Under the Poplars. Like priestly imprisoned poets, the poplars of blood have fallen asleep. On the hills, the flocks of Bethlehem chew arias of grass at sunset. The ancient shepherd who shivers at the last martyrdoms of light in his Easter eyes has caught a purebred flock of stars. Formed in orphanhood, he goes down with rumors of burial to the praying field, and the sheep bells are seasoned with shadow. It survives, the blue warped in iron, and on it, pupils shrouded, the dog etches its pastoral howl. If you want a book recommendation, the collected poems of Cesar Vallejo are, right, go do it. It'll, like, break the brain and make it whole again. It's awesome. I wanted to say, right, while I'm here, everyone who's competing tonight gets a little something. So if you're competing tonight, even if you don't win, right, don't leave here without seeing me or chance. Right? You got something, right? Congratulations. You're performing. You're getting up here and like sharing your work, and that's a pretty big deal. So we got something for you. The winners, the top 3 winners, are going to get like some swag. I'm telling you, like, oh yeah, we should put them on display right there. Like 1, 2, 3. They look the same on the outside, but they're not the same on the inside. And it's the inside that counts. Right, Jake? It's on the inside. Right?
Is there a jacket on the inside?
Huh? What? There's something awesome on the inside. What am I? No, I don't want to go that far, do I? Alright. There's like a chinchilla. There is a pipe. A pipe. Well, yeah. You run with that one. All you want. There's a fan. There is a lightsaber. I don't know one of those. There is what is this? Wallpaper. Because you like want to wallpaper your dorm rooms, right? There's wallpaper. There's a noose. A noose.
No noose is good noose.
Let the record show that did not come from me. Right, so anyway, there's stuff in there. Good luck. Oh yeah, okay, here we go. 3 more. That's our holder. I was like sketching it all out in memoriam for all of you. Next up, Chance Sylvie. Woo! Yeah, make some noise!
Just a precursor. I wrote this poem while reading a bunch of CNN articles. Also, if you guys want to check out the United Nations website to see what social issues are happening around the world so you can be aware of global issues during Global Week, that's a good idea. This poem's just going to give you a quick recap of the world. So my poem's called A Global View. As the world becomes more connected, so does the volume of the world's issues. This land was supposed to be a melting pot of people, a simple goal with a simple purpose. Instead of melting together, it seems the pot has caused diffusion across the whole spectrum. We build walls to isolate ourselves from the world, while a man with a phone launches a Twitter war. Threats of annihilation, thanks to some winter games, turns to talks of reunification. The land cut in half from political lacerations finds a new place as a new project for China. Paris beckons the land of the rising sun. So young couples grab a ticket to find real love. What they find is land they themselves cannot comprehend. So suicide rates go up again. Two nations split on ideas of religion, pointing at each other looking for the brink of the end. Same people caught in the middle, with two governments attempting to exercise their wills. As a world, we rush forward to create the new tomorrow, leaving ecological disaster in our wake. We're so worried about dead dinosaurs, wow, that was cool, that we fail to see the water we waste. We pride ourselves, a global world that's pushing for a new tomorrow. Yet, here we are, not even able to feed the people of today. As the young connect, growing in numbers, we forget that the old linger longer and longer. Around the world, the division grows as we become more connected. We see more differences. Even with all these issues, though, the world seems to march forward. Despite the differences people are banding together still to improve the world of tomorrow. You see, that's what globalization really teaches us in the end. The world has been full of different people, and is sure to be full of completely different things. No matter who you are or where you're from, we are all humans. So if we band together, we may not be able to fix the issues we face today, but we can make sure they're not the issues of tomorrow.
I fixed the microphone for you. That's my job.
All right. Chance Sylvie, everybody. He's, well, you probably know Chance, you're aware. He's the person who, like, orchestrates all of this stuff, and gets the place, and all that stuff. And I'm glad, because that means I don't have to do it. Yeah, for real. I hope he wins, because, no, I don't want to sway the judging. Okay. I'm just checking my notes, making sure we're on schedule. I got one more poem for you. This is from a poet named Gabriel Kara, a Nigerian poet. Born in 1921, April 24th, 1921. He's actually still alive and doing things. So, this poem is called Piano and Drums. When at break of day at a riverside, I hear the jungle drums telegraphing the mystic rhythm, urgent, raw, like bleeding flesh, speaking of primal youth and the beginning. I see the panther ready to pounce, the leopard snarling about to leap, and the hunters crouch with spears poised. And my blood ripples, turns torrent, topples the years, and at once I'm in my mother's lap, suckling. At once I'm walking simple paths with no innovations, rugged, fashioned with the naked warmth of hurrying feet and groping hearts, in green leaves and wild flowers pulsing. Then I hear a wailing piano, solo speaking of complex complex ways in tear-furrowed concerto of faraway lands and new horizons with coaxing diminuendo, counterpoint, crescendo, but lost in the labyrinth of its complexities. It ends in the middle of a phrase at a dagger point, and I, lost in the morning mist of an age at a riverside, keep wandering in the mystic rhythm of jungle drums in the concerto. There are only 2 more slips of paper in here, and it looks like Ben Howard. Ben? Yeah. It's like he wasn't able to make it. So, it'll either be, well, there are only 2. One of them won't be Ben, but it'll be his surrogate. Does anyone want to? No. You're competitive. this, yeah, it's, it's cool, right? Like, you can only cook so much stuff in there. Right, you can cook anything in there. Yeah, well. Next up is Ben Howard. Playing the part of Ben Howard will be Gabe LaHoy. Give it up for Gabe. We didn't have to do this before we started.
Go, Ben!
I know, Ben got a lot shorter, didn't he? Expanding Your Lungs and Perceptions of the World, a poem by Ben Howard. You wake up every single day, putting on the jeans, the jacket, and the other sort of garb that passes for being presentable for the viewing public. And surprise, your friends have left you something for your birthday expected within the next week. It's a collection of memories. Brotherhoods and sisterhoods forged by mistakes, happy accidents, adrenaline, and sheer fun for the sake of fun, all compiled into nostalgic Polaroids and birthday cards. Nothing can ruin this day, you think to yourself. You decide to open your phone. Maybe see if the world has had as good a day as you. Come to find out that your newsfeed opens with a declarative headline. 17 dead in recent school shooting. Gunman found dead after self-inflicted wound. To dance this dance with the world is much like expanding your lungs. Oxygen will come rushing in to grace your body with the gift of life and the earth's minerals, but then, with every single iota of soul-crushing detail, will the factories and the chimney stacks find a way to choke that life out. Those toxic clouds will part at times with a brief glimpse of sunlight, and this will push you on to wake up and continue dancing with the world once more. Thank you.
All right, that's Ben Howard. It's Gabe playing Ben Howard. Ben Howard for your sheet, right? I got to read your comments. Ooh. No. Oh, okay. This is from some dude I've never heard of before. You probably never heard of before. He goes by the name of William Shakespeare. Yeah, right. I mean, I was like, I gotta have a William Shakespeare poem here somewhere. He's English, British. He did not die in April. He was born in 1564. We actually don't know the date of his birth. We don't know what day he was born, but we know that he was baptized on April 26th. So, he was baptized in April. Good enough. This is Sonnet 71. No longer mourn for me when I am dead. Then you shall hear the surly, sullen bell give warning to the world that I am fled from this vile world with vilest worms to dwell. Nay, if you read this line, remember not the hand that writ it. For I love you so that I in your sweet thoughts would be forgot, if thinking on me then should make you woe. Oh, if, I say, you look upon this verse, when I, perhaps, compounded am with clay, do not so much as my poor name rehearse, but let your love even with my life decay, lest the wise world should look into your moan and mock you with me after I am gone. Yeah, that's uplifting. Actually, I think it's kind of like, hey, don't cry for me when I'm gone, just, get on. You cry for me, and you're sad. I don't want you to be sad. Oh, yeah, we're going to do it because, well, ceremony counts for something, right? Ceremony counts for something. Might be someone who's never heard of. Don't mess it up. There's like 15 in there. Where's it going to be? Oh my God!
See if I can do this without ripping it off. Okay. So, untitled April 2018. White America is the open-mouthed voice of silence. White America is if you don't stand, you can leave. White America is we don't want your language. White America won't teach it either. White America tells you to go to college but won't build a home with you. White America is the space for tour, when it is left on the street for looking suspicious, for hoodies, for Skittles, for Arizona iced tea. White America is the act of silence, a kind of creation we don't participate in. White America thinks it's passive, and it is. White America doesn't like your direct action, but won't listen to your peaceful protest. White America is those white women who wouldn't know intersectionality unless it comes in alabaster or ivory. White America is calling black men boys and men. White America won't like this poem. White America hates your expression of art, expression of gender, expression of dissent. White America knows how to call a cop innocent. White America doesn't notice the body camera footage. White America will invade your oil fields and wants you to hear their water cooler jokes. White America is the crescendo of goose stepping. White America is my silence at the dinner table. When my grandfather asked me if I am an N-word lover with a hard R, and I am white America, and the silence that follows.
Well, thoughts on everybody? I can put this thing down, hopefully. All right. So, that's all of our contestants. You take a minute, think about who you want. Only, let me tell you this. Circle the name of the person you want to win it all. Do not circle more than one name, because it will be disqualified. No one wants that. I'm going to read one more poem for you. And this is a special poem for me. And I'll tell you why. This poem was published in 2010 online. It's part of an anthology of poets responding to the BP oil spill. And I found this poem because I was doing some research for grad school. I wanted to go back to get my PhD. And so I was researching schools, and I was researching poets at schools to find out if I wanted to study with them. And I was researching this person, this poet, and I found this poem. And I can't quite describe to you the feeling I had upon reading this poem for the first time. Except to say that I knew that I wanted to go study with this person. because this poem did something that I wanted my poems to do too. It was the kind of poem I needed at the time that I found it. And so I applied to this program and I got in, and I got a fellowship and all that stuff, and I got to go. And it was at the University of Louisiana in Lafayette. And the poet's name is Martha Reed. And all I wanted to do was study with her, and I got the privilege to do that. She was only in Lafayette for 2 years, and then she and her husband moved to Syracuse, where he got a better job. And that was before I got to actually write my dissertation and do all that stuff. But nonetheless, her influence on me was, in those 2 years that I got to work with her, profound, to say the least. And I'm reading this poem, not because she was born in April, but because she died in April 2 days ago. So, So I'm going to read this poem in her honor, because it's her poem. It's called Chandelure Sound. And Chandelure Sound is this body of water just off the coast of Louisiana. It's where the Mississippi River flows out finally into the ocean. It's, the sounds by water is separated from the Gulf of Mexico by this small chain of islands called the Chandelure Islands. I think that's all I'm going to say about the poem. Chandelure Sound by a categorical exclusion, birdfoot, deltaic, low, sprawling eastward. No significant adverse impacts are expected, planned for. Elapse this, piping plover habitat, brown pelican nursery, Caspian and sandwich terns diving against sludge. Catastrophe too unlikely, no additional mitigation measures necessary. Though urgency obligatory, revenue management, abrogating safety and environmental, oil plume blanket, mantle smothering sponge fields, corals, remnant cordgrass meadows, a lapse and a rush, field of rushes fouled. Pelicans given to loafing on sand shoals glide above oiled surf. Royal terns, laughing gulls, barrier islands braceleted in orange, shelter dolphin, sea turtles, haven, refuge, home, investment portfolio, what's really at stake. Residual marsh sequesters toxicity, pom-pom booms mimicking ridgeon grass. A regulatory regime cut to fit big oil, profit, thirst of our idealized machines. Fill in the blank. No clear strategic objectives. Turn, estuary, soak, seat. Linked to statutory requirements. What is required? Profit. $93 million a day. No adverse, not part of the scheme. Copepods grazing on Corexit, this web feeding squid, sperm whales, dolphin. MMS like BP, leaching science to production, acquisition, yield. Meaning to take, to harvest. Accumulate wealth at the bottom of things, counting our blessings and breathing in fumes, larval bluefin swordfish, this hydrocarbon nursery. Adverse impacts cannot be expected or imagined. Preparing the bottom line, thousands of frigate birds roosting amid black mangroves stabilizing the coast. No detailed environmental analysis necessary, the exigencies of greed, keeping us grounded. Coral reef, widgeon grass, meadow, another. Pipe dream, illusion, feeding on Corexit and oil suspension dreams, shrimp bed and oyster bed. Better this, cheap petrol, road going everywhere, nowhere, trading covenant, land, law, and our good intentions for jobs in the industry, selling out, down, and kissing it goodbye, chandelier sound, a categorical exclusion. Right. So, yeah, we need more time for the judging stuff? Okay, all right. You folks, right? You're not guys, I was about to say guys, and that's right. You folks, hang out for a second, let us get all this square, and I'll holler something when we're ready. So, yeah. All right, everybody. The moment of truth. Sorry if they're in the library and doing stuff. All right. Here it is. First off, I want to thank Chance and Cap for doing logistical stuff on this. I want to thank the judges, the guest judges, for doing their hard work. They're just over there talking, and they all hated this experience more than we can say. So let's give them a round of applause, please. I exaggerated. They didn't hate it. They loved it. They want to do it again. They want one next week so they can do it again. Also, we should give a shout out to the library because it's open. People up there doing things, and we're down here cheering and doing things. So we appreciate the use of this space. So I would like to have all the contestants who competed tonight to come up here. Please join me on the stage. Get up. Get on up. Get down. Get on up. Get on up. Get on up. Doesn't have to be any particular order, but form a nice little careful. Nice little line back there. Alright, so I kind of mentioned this a little already. It is. Oh yeah, right. We need those things, I guess. All right. Oh, here, I'll come get them. All right, because then everybody wants to stand up there. So, I mentioned this a little bit. It is insanely hard to do what these folks did. I think. No, it is. I know it is. I have a PhD. I know what I'm talking about. It is hard to write a poem. First off, just to write a poem, and then it's hard to get up here and look down there and speak into this thing, right? That sometimes does what it does, and it's just hard. And they should be lauded for doing what they did. So I would like for you all to give all of them a round of applause. They did a very good job. They're all winners in my book. But we have to, yeah. All right. So when I call your name, step forward so we can see you, and give you, well, I'm gonna say their names, and they're gonna step forward, and then hold off on your applause for a second, and give all the winners an applause, right? Does that sound good? No, let's applaud them all when they step up. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Hey, yeah. Okay. So, in third place, with some number of points, it really doesn't matter, but in third place is Ana Sofia Camargo. Second place Second place, Megan Johnson. And last, in first place, not last, but next, in first place, with some, yeah, I'm not going to try. Wait, but with a score of 3.15. In first place, your winner for Project Poet postseason is Lauren Dotson. Yeah, give everyone a round of applause again. Yeah, high five again. All right. Oh, good. Third. Oh, yeah. Congratulations. Yes. All right.